Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on from where you're watching me from. My name is David Iloma, and this is my first YouTube video, and you're welcome to my channel. This channel is basically on about scriptural insights, how we can use the scriptures to resolve life besetting problems and be able to use the scriptures to reach out to people and to help people to be better than they are, and to use the scriptures to give people hope and all the good things that people actually want to have in life, including wealth and abundance. Now, in this channel, we are going to be going through the scriptures. We are going to be reading each chapters of the Bible from Genesis chapter 1 till the end, and then we'll move over to the next book of the scriptures. So for today, we are going to read Genesis chapter 1 from verses 1 to the end, and then we are going to be extracting some verses that we can use to explain things that can help us to know more about God and be able to grow spiritually, and it will help us in our day-to-day activities. Now I'm going to read from verse 1 to the end, and I will throw more light or illustrate some verses of one or two verses from that chapter 1. Verse 1, and I'm reading from King James Version of the Holy Bible. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Now, verse 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Then the last verse. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, we have just read Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 to 31. And we are going to now x-ray or look into some verses there that has a lot of moral or that has a lot to teach us, that can help us to understand who we are, that can help us to understand why we are here, and that can help us to grow both materially and spiritually without limits. Believe you me, I need you to follow me in this discourse. I'm not going to take your time. Just follow me now. We are going to do some analysis of this chapter 1 of this Genesis chapter 1 we have read from the King James Version. Now, having gone through it, we are going to now make, like I said, we are going to analyze this chapter 1. First of all, if we look to Genesis chapter 1 verse 4, in fact, the statement and God saw that it was good was mentioned about 7 times in Genesis chapter 1. If you look up to verse 4, verse 10, verse 12, verse 18, verse 20, 21, verse 25, and verse 31, you will see where the statement was made that what God created was good. So, in fact, in the last verse of verse 31 of Genesis chapter 1, after God has made everything on the 6th day, he now summarized it that everything, including man, which was the last creation of God, that it was very good. So let no one deceive you that you do not matter, because you are the climax of the creation of God. And God said it was very good. That is one point. Now, if you go to verse 20 and 21, it made something very important there that I want us to consider. That let the waters bring forth abundantly. You see? And in verse 21, it also talked about waters bringing forth abundantly. That is the fishes and the fowls of the air bringing forth to their kind abundantly. Ordinarily, we see that these creatures, they give birth to thousands and hundreds of their own kind. But when we extend this to humans, we know, in fact, a scholar, H. Mitchell, in the Journal of Biological Chemistry, said that the human adult body is made up of 60% water. In fact, he mentioned that the heart and the brain is 73% water, that the lungs are about 83% water, even the skin is 64% water, and that the muscles and the kidney are about 79% water. The bone, he even said the bone is watery, about 31% water. Knowing that we as humans, our body, our system is composed mainly of water, it should tell us something, that we are created to bring forth things in abundance. We are created by God to flourish, to shine, to abound, to increase. So the point now is, in what direction are we increasing? In what direction are we existing in abundance? Is it in good or towards evil, or is it positive or negative? That is the question we should ask ourselves. Now, if we go further, in verse 26, he said, and God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Now, let us, God Almighty, otherwise known as Yahweh or Elohim, was talking to somebody, his creative agent, Jesus Christ. If you go to some portion of the Bible, it proves this in Proverbs chapter 8, verses 22 to 30, and in Colossians chapter 1, 15 to 20. So Jesus Christ was the creative agent. It was through Jesus Christ that God created all other things we can see. So he was telling him, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Dominion, that is one. Dominion over the fish of the sea. And another point there is for them to subdue. Yes. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every creeping thing. And God blessed them. Now, the pointer there is verse 28. And said, be fruitful and multiply. So, if we are not fruitful, if we are not progressing, if there is no increase, then we are not living, we are not obeying that command, because this was a command. God said unto them. So we are commanded, we are engineered, we are made to multiply, to replenish. Now, this word replenish is an old English, because some people will say that replenish means that something was there. It means to refill. No, in this case, it doesn't mean refill. If you consider other translations, like the New King James Version, the Living Bible, the New International Version, it has to do with filling up, to fill up. So replenish here is an old English for filling up and not to refill. To fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion. So we are created to be fruitful, to multiply. So multiplication is not just about giving birth, but it has a lot to do with improving ourselves, equipping ourselves with skills that can help us to prosper, to be connected, to solve people's problems that will bring wealth our way. So fruitful, to multiply and replenish the earth and have dominion. So this dominion is not by way of subjugation or to abuse others, but by being in charge at whatever skill or talent that God has blessed you with, and use it for the betterment of your fellow man, for your family, and for the work of God. So the fact that we are made to replenish, to fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion. So anybody living in want, or let me say in challenges and in low self-esteem, is not living the life that God created us to live. So you can see from this that, in fact, the 6 days of creation, the first 6 days, which we are covering in chapter 1, shows clearly that the first day, the second day, the third day, and the fourth day, because the first day was the creation of light, the second day has to do with the firmament, the third day is the dry land, like the earth, the seas, the plants, the trees, and the herbs. While the fourth day was about creating light bearers like the sun, stars, and moon. Now, the first 4 days, basically, or the first 3 days, which has to do with light, firmament, and dry land, is bringing order to creation. Whereas in fact, the first 4 days has to do with bringing order to creation, whereas the fifth and the sixth day is giving life to creation. The fifth day has to do with the creation of fishes and birds, and the sixth day has to do with creation of animals and humans. So that's giving life to creation. And you can't tell me that all these things was not done by a supreme intelligence, a supreme being. So let no one deceive us. For some people that will talk about evolution, that man evolved. No, it is not by evolution. So, my dear brothers and sisters, the summary of this chapter 1 of Genesis is that we are made to be productive. We are created to live in abundance. We are created to multiply, to be fruitful, to enjoy life, and to serve God, to worship Him. So if we are not productive, if we are not increasing in our life by way of equipping ourselves with skills or growing in the knowledge of God and being better than we were, then we are not living the life that God has made us to live. We are not living that life. And it's high time we realize this. It's high time we realize this. So from what we have been able to do today, Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 to 31, you can see that truly that there's a lot to benefit, to gain from analyzing the scriptures and using it for our own good. So if this video has touched you, I believe that this video has touched you in one way or the other. If you have any clarification or any comments to make, you can make that comment at the comment section. And also subscribe. You'll see the red button, subscribe, by the right side of your device. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and so that whenever the next time I'm going to continue in this scripture analysis from chapter 2, you'll be promptly notified. And also, give a thumbs up to this video. Give a thumbs up to this video, and your comments, like I said, will be greatly appreciated. I thank you once more for being there.